Nutrition topic these days is so overcomplicated. So this video is going to be covering all the nutrition basis, sort of the fundamentals of what nutrition is, what good nutrition looks like, what even is good nutrition if that exists. And hopefully let's learn some stuff. Let's go. So nutrition is more than you think. So obviously nutrition, people think, oh, it's just food, it's weight loss and everything else. But also there are so many other things that come into play, like your energy, recovery, muscle growth, fat loss, including health, performance, your brain, like how you feel, how you do, how you function as a human, all comes down to food. And that, like, a lot of it comes down to the quality of food that you also consume. So it's not just like in general, it's also like what exactly do you eat? Like every food has a purpose in a way, right? So every meal has a chance to fuel one of those, like whether that's your heart or your health or your brain, whatever it is, every single food has a function. And that is sort of the purpose of this in a way, of the food. Excuse my drawing skills. This is a bit of a plate, but the whole idea is that half the plate should be vegetables. So half of the plate is fully vegetables, and then quarter of it is protein. So protein, we're talking about chicken, fish, eggs, any sort of dairy products. That's all gonna go into the protein bracket, and then everything under the other quarter of the plate should go into the carbs. So that's like potatoes, rice, any sort of grains, lentils, beans, and things like that. That's gonna be under that other quarter. And then healthy fats could be something like having extra virgin, like olive oil and things like that, like a little bit of like healthier nuts and things like that. That's going to be under the healthy node for the healthy fats, and that's usually the brain and the hair and things like that. So the water, when we're talking about water, that's another thing that adds on to what we're talking about. So 30 to 35 mils per kilo per body weight. The easiest ways to think about it is just 2 to 3 liters a day. That's pretty much for most people. And then if you want to, if you're working out or if it's hot or if you're on holiday and you're like sweating loads, you should add another liter to 2 liters on top of that. So that could add up to like 3 to 4 liters a day. So what actually looks like a good nutrition? So it's all about balance at the end of the day. We could talk about breakfast, having some sort of protein source. It could be like pancakes themselves. It could be like Greek yogurt on top, porridge with something as well. That's all like protein, as well as berries, as well as nuts, and that's gonna help with the carbs as well as the fat side of it. Lunch, one of the examples is like chicken with quinoa and then roasted veg. So once again, every plate will still have some sort of veg and fruit as well as protein as well as carbs. Then dinner could be salmon with sweet potato and asparagus. And then a snack, cottage cheese, almonds, and apples. So still, regardless if it's a breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack, it still has quite a big balance of all of those four things in a way. Well, three things plus water. So whole foods versus processed foods. So processed foods, the easiest way to think about it is if you have a package that's already processed in some sort of way, and the more you have, the more names you have on that package, the more processed it is, right? So the whole foods is something that just comes straight from the tree to our mouth, and then anything in between is going to be a process of some kind. And the more processed it is, the less healthy it is, essentially. So examples of whole foods is fruits, vegetables, chicken, fish, eggs, rice and potatoes, Greek yogurt. They're most natural things that you can get, and then processed is like takeaways, chocolate, crisps, fast food, sugary drinks, cakes, pastries, and things like that. Obviously, there's lots of processes, there's lots of ingredients, lots of things to make those things work. They're usually, obviously, flavor-wise, processed foods work because they usually have so many different ingredients and so many different flavors and textures in your mouth, which is why it's so appealing to have. So when you have crisps, it's like it's the crisp portion of it as well as the salt, as well as like there's so many additives into it to make it delicious and make it nice. But obviously you can also do that with whole foods by having nuts. That's going to add crunch, like apples will add crunch and things like that to your actual meal as well. But it's not like all about perfection, so aim for mostly whole foods, not perfection. So just do that as much as you can. Usually we're talking about 80 to 20. Nutrition myths. So myths, fat-free foods are a healthy choice. The fact they're actually usually packed with stuff, and because it's a fat-free option, that means it's been processed in some sort of way. So once again, it's like another process on top of already all these processes to make the fat, like fat-free yogurt or whatever it would be. So when you're talking about fat loss, you would be aiming to have a little bit more fat-free options that are lower in calories. But if you're looking at the healthy sort of option, you would be looking at full fat stuff, just purely from a health perspective, from like least processed stuff perspective. Myth, healthy eating means giving up your favorite foods. Fact, balance matters more than perfect. If you like chocolate, have chocolate, just have a bar of chocolate rather than a big bar of chocolate, or have hot chocolate instead of like bar of chocolate again. So it's really like depending on what you want. Buy like, instead of multi-packs, you're getting smaller packs, or just don't buy multi-packs, buy a single pack, but that's a smaller version of it. There's like, still don't give up the food, know your triggers, know your patterns, and avoid those, and then just exchange them into a healthier patterns. And another myth is you have to eat every few hours. It's not about timing, it's the whole intake. You were in the last ones, like it's about the calorie intake, so it doesn't really matter when you eat it. Calorie goes into your body doesn't care. It's a calorie. It has a calorie, it has to do something with that calorie. Whether it's using it for energy, digesting, or pooping it out, or storing it as fat. It has to do something with it. It doesn't care if it's 4 p.m., it's 8 p.m., or it's 12 o'clock at night. It doesn't care about it. So it's always going to come down just to the total consumption of food throughout the day. So small habits create big results. So it's like, just start from small little things. We touched on it last week as well, like drink more water, have more protein, then start adding vegetables, then have a walk, then prepare meals. Like, you don't start with everything at the same time, but you do all these little things, and all of a sudden you have 5 habits that you've built consistently. And consistency is obviously what's going to matter most in all of this. So what healthy eating looks like: mostly whole foods, plenty of protein, fruit and vegetables, that's in daily, 5 a day, right? That's what England is teaching. Whereas the reality is like, it's quite high up, it's more than 5 a day, but I think they sort of came up with that just purely to make it easier for people to reach, actually. Drinking enough water, treats enjoyed in moderation. So it's what you do most of the time, not just occasionally. So it is just healthy eating as much as you can. Do this, and then obviously treats and everything else come in moderation. The hunger scale. So obviously it's not a skill. It's a skill. Sorry, it's not a rule. It's not like something you have to follow. It's not like really black and white, because we're all different. Our hunger cues are different. We've been taught differently what hunger is in general. But the whole idea is, as soon as you feel like you're going into 3, so 1 meaning you're starving, and then 10 you're stuffed and feel sick, like you are looking for about to start eating at about 3, 4, and then don't eat above 8. That's all there is, really. Like, if you feel like you're somewhat full but you're not stuffed, this is where you should stop, right? Well, and then somewhere in the middle, this is where you're sort of eating and you're satisfied. A couple of different things that could help is something like, if you feel like you're consuming too fast, your brain takes about 20 minutes to even register that you're eating in the first place. So that could take a while for you to register that you're not hungry necessarily. So you need to slow down to understand your hunger a little bit more and understand what you're feeling more. So something like putting your fork between bites, like every time chew and count to 30, like count and chew it 30 times, like 20 to 30 chews. By then it's all like digesting. Your digestive system starts from your mouth. Your mouth already digests stuff. So you helping it and chewing it, that helps your digestive system. So slowing down in that way. Or something like, if you're out and socializing and with other people, so trying to match the pace of the slowest eater. It's quite difficult. I've tried it a few times. It's really hard, because when you try to sort of eat as fast as they eat, and sometimes you think, how can you eat like half a bite and they just sit and they like chat? Like, try to match the slowest eater. See how fast you actually eat. You might be the slowest eater. Who knows? But those little things, they could help you to slow down and actually feel the hunger and feel the cues of what you are actually feeling inside. Eating out without losing the weight. So when you're going out, obviously that could become quite difficult for people. So when you are going out, think about ordering protein first. So always base everything around the protein source. So like, try to pick meat or fish or something like a tofu. So base around that. So instead of just getting like cheesy chips, there's no protein. You're picking something that has protein, and then look around what happens around that plate. So protein comes first, and then after that we'll look into the later sort of what's on the menu in a way. Try to go for the grilled options if you can. Most of the stuff that they make is usually filled with loads and loads of things. So try to avoid that as much as you can, because there's butter, you don't know how they make it. There could be so many things that they put in it. It's very hard to track, very hard to tell. So try to keep the least processed stuff like as much as you can, and just sort of natural product that they make. Sauces and dressings, you can ask them to put it on the side, just sort of keep it aside. That's something that like adds up really quick as well. Skipping like baskets and things like sticks and whatever they offer, like try to skip it. Try to focus on the actual meal. So try to not avoid appetizers, but like don't overindulge on them. Like actually focus on the meal. And then if you're having drinks, pick one drink, have it, and then switch to soda or like water or some sort of fizzy drink. But that's going to be less calories than the alcohol itself. It's still social, you're still socializing, but just take it slower, enjoy it, and try to exchange it into something a little bit better later on. So the main things to remember, nutrition doesn't have to be complicated. Literally half a plate of veg, quarter protein, quarter carbs, and a little bit of fats. Eat mostly whole foods, build balanced meals, which is what we just spoke about, and focus on consistently doing it, and then progress beats perfection. So choose one habit to improve on this week, whether that's, because obviously you guys work on it anyways, but pick to work on one thing and just work on one thing only until you feel comfortable, and then add other things. So drink more water, add protein to breakfast, prep tomorrow's lunch, like look at menu that you're gonna go out to the place, like check out what they have and things like that. Like this is what you could work on as a habit. Hopefully now you understand the fundamentals of nutrition, and if you want to learn more, click subscribe, and next week we'll go through another topic. Good luck.